I lost 40 pounds as a girl who was addicted to junk food, was lonely as heck, hated how I looked in the mirror, and just wanted to change my life. If I could do it, you can do it too, because I was so emotionally dependent on food that the fact that I was able to lose 40 pounds means that if I could find a way out, you can find a way out too. So let's talk about that. In this video, I'm going to be going over why 90% of people who try dieting won't lose fat. These are the biggest mistakes that I see. Let's get into it. Number one, you're not trying to change your life. You're trying to crash diet for 4 months and get it over with. Now, in order to lose fat, you need to make a lifestyle change. You've heard this all the time. So what does that actually mean? The habits you make and the changes you make to lose fat now and see the weight on the scale drop, you need to continue that for the rest of your life. Otherwise, as soon as you stop, you're going to gain the weight back. This is why people you see lose weight, but then they gain it all back because they don't keep the changes. Whether you're counting calories, you need to be making sure that you're counting calories for the rest of your life, because when you stop, you're probably going to gain all the weight back because you won't keep that healthy lifestyle up. If you're intermittent fasting, you will have to keep a component of fasting in your life for the rest of your life, because that's your method to making sure you keep the weight off. Now, when you do lose the weight, you won't have to be in a calorie deficit anymore. So you're counting calories and fasting, a carnivore diet, whatever you're doing, you'll be eating a little more to maintain your weight. But when it comes to these changes to make sure that you lose weight for the long term, to make sure that you're losing weight for the long term, keep in mind that these changes that you make need to be there for the rest of your life. Like, it's not just a 4-month solution, it's like a fix for the rest of your life. A lot of people, when they talk to me about losing weight, they're like, yeah, like I'll do it for like 12 weeks and then I'll be so happy that's over with. No, that's why they don't lose the weight, because you're thinking of it like some torturous thing that you're going through. Losing fat is not torture. It's supposed to be a lifestyle change to better your life. 2, you don't build muscle. Okay, every single physique that you see in the movies, Wonder Woman, freaking Vi from Arcane, any like female that you look up to, they have curves too, because they go to the gym and they lift weights. They do their squats, deadlifts, lunges, Bulgarian split squats, hip thrusts. They're building muscle onto their body, so they still have curves, so that when they lose fat, they're able to they're able to lose fat from their stomach, arms, and problem areas, and then they're able to keep the curves on their like legs. They're able to build a bit of muscle on their arms, whatever it is, so that they look toned and they don't look sick and weak when they do lose the fat, because chances are you're losing fat so you look good. So if you don't build enough muscle underneath the fat, you're gonna end up this thing called skinny fat, where you look like you're skinny when you wear clothes, but underneath the clothes you're still gonna have that flab of stomach fat, because you didn't build enough muscle to make a good physique. For example, it's like building a sculpture without anything to sculpt underneath. Like, even if you chip away at a clay sculpture as much as you want, if you don't have the right amount of sculpture in the right places, the right amount of rock, the right amount of clay, then it doesn't matter what you do, it's just gonna look really bad. Like, you need enough of the base foundation, and then you start chipping away. That's what building muscle is. 3, you're not enjoying the process. When you make this change to lose the weight, 10 pounds, 20 pounds, 30 pounds, 40 pounds, 50 pounds, 100 pounds, 200 pounds, 300 pounds, whatever it is, this is not a torture that you're going through. Losing fat is not torture. Losing fat can be so enjoyable. You need to stop thinking about dieting as this like thing that's going to make your life so horrible and miserable for a couple months. No. You need to build the fat loss lifestyle to the point where you're having even more fun when you are losing fat. Otherwise, you'll never be able to lose the fat and keep it off. For example, you need to fix your relationship with food. If you feel like life is so empty when you're not eating junk food, when you're not eating pizza, when you're not eating burgers, when you're not eating ice cream, when you're not eating chocolate fudge brownies, if you feel like life is so empty, that's because you're not really living life. I'm sorry to tell you that, but I'm telling you this so I can help you. I want you to actually lose the weight and keep it off for good and be healthier and live longer, have more energy, achieve the things that you want to achieve. And I'm telling you right now, if you feel miserable when you're not eating those things, you're deriving pleasure from those things. That's another point that I'm going to come to, but overall, you are not enjoying the process of losing fat. And to enjoy the process of losing fat, you need to find foods that you genuinely love that are healthy. For me, I love breakfast burritos, so I make healthier, lower calorie breakfast burritos. I also love ice cream, so I make ice cream smoothie bowls with protein powder and frozen fruits. I also love yogurt bowls with the zero sugar cheesecake pudding mixture in it. I love mixing that up with berries. That's really good. I love meat, so I love brisket. I still eat brisket. I love just anything sweet, so I make chocolate pudding with protein powder. I eat so many delicious things. That's why I'm able to lose the fat, and I enjoy the days. I enjoy every single day. Whether I'm eating junk food or not, I'm enjoying my life 100%. So like you should not feel like your quality and enjoyment of life is going down because you're not eating junk food. That's the problem. The reason why you're not losing fat is because you're thinking when you go on a diet, like you're just gonna enjoy life less. When that's not true, you can enjoy life even more actually. Okay, you don't build a community of people like-minded. This is part of enjoying the process. If everyone around you just like is not like the kind of person to eat healthy, to go to the gym, to just think about like good things, like good positive self-improvement things, if they just doom scroll all day and they're on brain rot and they just watch TV and TV shows, it's not like they're bad people, but it's just that for you to actually stick to this process of leveling up and becoming a better version of yourself, you need to find people who are like-minded so you actually enjoy the process, because such an important part of enjoying life is the relationships that you have and doing stuff with people, like cool things like going to the gym, traveling, exploring new places, having fun with people. Like that's such an important part of life enjoyment. And if you feel like dieting is so hard, you feel like being a healthier person is so hard, it's because I can guarantee you it's probably because you don't have many friends who are doing the same thing. So you need to solve that. Once you find people who are doing the same thing, and you're building a community and you're hanging out with them, you're going out with them, and you guys are all leveling up together, you're going to enjoy the process. So you're going to lose the fat and keep it off. Okay, next, you're emotionally dependent on food. This is what I was talking about before, and let me explain what this kind of means. If you feel like you get unhappy when you don't eat junk food, that is a problem, because that means your source of pleasure in this world is from factory made substances that companies make to make you feel addicted to their products, so you keep buying their junk food. I mean, that's basically what it is. Like burgers, cakes, cupcakes, and whatever, like these big companies, they make these foods so with the insane amounts of sugar and chemicals in them, so you keep coming back for more and you get addicted to them. Now, I might sound like what is it, the skinny almond mom? Whatever. If you don't really care about losing fat, you can click off this video. That's fine. I'm talking to people who like they want to be healthier for their kids. They want to lose the fat and feel like the best version of themselves. They're here on this earth because they feel like they want to achieve the highest things that the highest version of yourself wants to achieve. They want to do those things. I'm talking to you guys. You will enjoy life so much more when you find pleasure in the real world. That comes from your relationships. That comes from your goals. That comes from exploring the world. That comes from doing things you never thought were possible. That comes from experiencing life to the fullest. If you feel like life is miserable when you don't eat junk food, it's because you don't have enough ties or experiences in other areas in life. There's something just missing, there's things missing in your experience of life, and that's leading you to look for pleasure and fulfillment and just comfort in food. Because like I'm telling you, like if you find other places to find fulfillment, happiness, joy, and the adventures of life and exploring the world, when you're eating healthier, you won't feel like the quality and enjoyment of life has gone down. You're not going to be focused on how much pleasure do you get from this bite of food. You're going to be looking at from pleasure and enjoyment and happiness from other things in life, from real relationships, from adventures, from doing things that you never thought were possible, from living a one-to-one life like you live once. So doing things that genuinely excite you. So if you are emotionally dependent for seeking comfort and pleasure from food, your solution is to find fulfillment, joy, pleasure, and just happiness from other parts of life. And that's not just so you be skinny and you lose the weight. That's because so that you actually live the life, like the one life that you have to its fullest. That's the root pain. That's the reason why you might be overweight, is because of the root cause of not finding fulfillment, joy, and pleasure from the actual real world and adventures and experiences and people in life. If you solve that, you will be able to lose weight. And honestly, losing weight is just a side effect to just bettering your life. Oh my god, I'm so sorry. Why is my phone literally just blurring me out? Maybe it's because the boot is there. I don't know. But yeah, sixth is your mental health. This is kind of just what goes with everything else. If your mental health is poor, like if you're dealing with depression, you're gonna go and find comfort in food. That's what I've seen with a lot of people. A lot of people who are overweight and struggle with weight loss, it's never the weight or the diet that's the problem. It's always like an internal mental problem that they're seeking for comfort and relief from in food. Like I've always found that to be the case. Like people who don't feel like they're living life to the fullest and just aren't living a fulfilling life, most of the time they're also dealing with weight problems. So it's not really the weight that's the problem, it's just the way you're living life. You're not living a life that's fulfilling, so that's why you're finding that comfort in food. You're not finding relationships that are fulfilling. You're not living life how you genuinely want to live it, so that's why you're looking for comfort in food. And to be honest, like, ask yourself, is finding comfort in food, has that really been making you feel happy and fulfilled in life? Because if it is, then okay, cool. If it's not, then don't you think you need to be making a change in how you're living life to live better? Because if you keep going down this path of just like living life in a way that you don't really genuinely enjoy and just being stuck to other people's expectations, this is my thing. Like, I used to think that I used to not be happy in where I was in life and where I was going because I was so focused on making sure I was living to everyone else's expectations of who they thought the perfect daughter was, who they thought the perfect sister was, who they thought the perfect girl was. But then I would see them do things that weren't good and were morally wrong, but they would have this expectation that I always had to be 100% like to their expectations. I couldn't do anything that I wanted to do, and I couldn't step out of their box of a person that they had created for me. So I was always emotionally dependent on food because like I felt like I couldn't really do the things that I wanted to do in life. So I built this dependency on food. But once I let go of trying to make other people happy with me, okay with me, just like make instead prioritizing and being okay with people not liking me as long as I liked me, and that's wrong. And just like prioritizing my own vision for myself instead of other people's vision for myself. That's when I really saw the emotional attachment to food. Like, I don't need junk food to make me feel happy because I feel happy with myself and the relationships that I pick to have in my life and the way I want to live life that I've picked for myself. I feel happy enough with those. So that solved the emotional need for junk food for me. So, yeah, those are the biggest reasons that I see why a lot of people, like 90% of people who start dieting, don't lose the weight and don't lose the fat. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this reality check. Comment down below what you'd like to see next because we need to help each other out. All right, peace.